Thunderbolts to ShockCast 208 with me, your host of the ShockCast, George Amanda, staff writer on DualShockers.com. And joining me on this two-man podcast, because no one responded to my emails, Mr. Ryan Meitzler, also staff writer at DualShockers.com. Hey, Ryan, what's up?
So, George, am I still living a dream that Fallout 4 is reality? Like, is this a dream? Is it like...
Maybe. I feel like, like Fallout 3 is announced, and then tomorrow World War 3 is going to happen, and then we'll never see Fallout 4 again. But
well, my ultimate hypothesis is that Fallout 4 got announced this week, so we'll talk about that. And then Half-Life 3 gets announced at E3, and then at TGS, Last Guardian gets announced, and then the second coming of Jesus arrives, and then everything is good in the world.
Ryan, you live in a fantasy world, but before we get into it, Ryan, tell me what games are coming out. What should we should be looking forward to in the next week or two? Go.
Well,
tell me.
I wish this week Fallout 4 were coming out, but it is not. So, but for the week of June 7th to June 14th, it's a pretty light week, but we have The Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited for Xbox One and PS4. Finally, a long wait for that. Operation Abyss, New Tokyo Legacy for Vita and just PlayStation Vita. Terraria for PlayStation Vita, Dr. Mario Miracle Cure for 3DS eShop, and Lego Jurassic World for PS4, Vita, and probably a bunch of other platforms, but it only lists PS4 and Vita for some reason. So,
and Ryan, do also the week of E3 since we're not going to be around.
So there's actually nothing listed for the E3 week.
Even better. I love that.
It's everything else is coming out afterward because obviously, who wants to release during E3? That's just not a great time to release. So
yeah, that's a good time for no one to not cover your game.
Yep.
So Ryan, some big news happened in the last couple of days. News to the point where we were just like, no, this is weird. But I always appreciate good games being announced prior to E3. It's less things for us to cover while we're there. But,
well, I mean, more stuff to cover, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to wait a couple of weeks of speculating. So, Ryan, I'm going to give this one to you. Just what happened?
Fallout 4 is real. Woo! That's basically so. Earlier this week, there was a tease from Bethesda's Twitter account, and they posted this teaser website with a countdown clock that looked pretty much like a 1950s doomsday clock. So it was pretty easy to guess what was going to happen. So the countdown struck 24 hours, and Fallout 4 was announced, and it's coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There's no release date at this time, but pre-orders are available, so you can go and pre-order it now for whenever it releases, which is hopefully going to be this year, I hope.
Yeah, I'm hoping it will probably be a holiday release. I'm sure that is what's going to be revealed at the Bethesda conference at E3. And just, hey, here's another Fallout trailer and a date. And I'm like, that would be amazing. And if it hits holiday...
I think
we need that.
Yeah, I hope so. It would definitely be a really big game to put in the holiday window, especially since so much has moved out. So that gives them a good chance to get that out there. And
the trailer came out and it looked good. It takes place in Boston. There's Fenway Park and a place where you can buy baseball bat weapons. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. You even wrote a kind of in-depth look at the trailer there.
Yes, I did. So so the trailer came out. So it's the first ever look we've ever had at the game. And I wrote today, or I had up today a kind of breakdown of the trailer for a lot of the different things. I kind of combed through and looked at all the things. So obviously the big thing in Fallout 4 is it's a new setting. So it's going to take place in Boston. Which was rumored for a while. Originally, the game was called Shadow. It was rumored to be called Shadow of Boston, which is a terrible name. I'm really glad they just went with Fallout 4 because that's an awful name. So it's going to take place in Boston. And in the trailer and in my sort of breakdown, I took screenshots of all the different landmarks that were in the trailer. But let me just take a quick look. But I know you have the Bunker Hill Monument, which I originally thought was the Washington Memorial. But I had to go and look again. And I was like, oh, because that threw me off. Because at first I thought, oh, maybe we're going to go back to Washington, D.C. for some stuff, which is where Fallout 3 took place, was in Washington, D.C. But then I looked again and realized, oh, that's actually the Bunker Hill Monument. So that they got me there. But there's also the USS Constitution, Scollay Square, Fenway Park, the Paul Revere statue, and the Massachusetts State House. So it's all going to take place in Boston, which is a cool setting. I'm really happy that they're going to be doing that, and I think it'll be kind of similar to. I feel like it'll be kind of similar to Washington D.C., like because it's in the East Coast. It's like a kind of an old colonial American town. So I think it'll have a similar feel, but also like I guess it'll be different because it is more like suburban and kind of it's got some some cool areas. So especially because it's got so many famous landmarks and recognizable like places, I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I want to know what weird kind of baseball faction is taking residence inside of Fenway Park.
Yeah, well, actually, like in the trailer, there's a shot. It's right after you see like the Scully Square. Like you see, it looks like that there's a town that's actually been kind of built inside of Fenway Park. Because if you look in the trailer, there's you could see like the lights and I guess where they have like the TV screens and stuff like that. So it almost looks like there's going to be an area in the game where it's kind of built inside of Fenway Park. You see this place called Swatters that sells, I guess, probably maybe weapons or something like that. So that'll be cool. That's always been like I think one of the cool things about the Fallout games, and I played 3 and a little bit of New Vegas. But how you see, especially in 3, how you see like all these areas in Washington D.C. that were kind of repurposed and made into new things, like all these famous areas. So I feel like obviously Fallout 4 is going to be doing a similar thing where it's taking all these landmarks and repurposing them. Because even if you look at the shot of the USS Constitution that's in there, it has like rockets on it and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's really, it's like,
is this thing going to take off at some point? I'm like, I can't wait.
It looked, yeah,
I love the shot of the I love the shot of the vertibirds, and it's like the shot of you inside one being transported around, and I'm just like,
that looked.
Ooh, I'm like, do we get one of those?
Yeah, it will be cool. A lot of people I know said that it would be cool if they can maybe incorporate something from like the Skyrim Dragonborn expansion where you could like ride dragons and stuff. So I'm sure maybe there might be something where you could probably fly or at least ride in vertibirds, which are the big helicarrier helicopter looking things. Yeah, and also I think the other like aside from the Boston setting, the other striking thing is just the visuals and how this is a really colorful Fallout, which is like unheard of compared to Fallout 3. If you look, like they are night and day, because this is like I saw the trailer and I was like, this is very bright and like there's like blue skies and like really beautiful sunsets, and it's really different from
it is saturated in color, and it's just like I just remember Fallout being just this really muted orange mostly. Like when you look at perpetual dusk.
Like I think and like last generation was kind of like the gray and brown generation, and like Fallout 3 was like the epitome of that, because like it obviously it fit very well because it's supposed to take place in a post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland, and you can't get much more than that. But it is interesting the direction that they're kind of going in with Fallout 4, where they're making it a little bit more colorful and kind of like it's still in like okay shape. It seems like it's not the wasteland that Washington D.C. was in Fallout 3.
Yeah, because Washington was hit by I think Washington was supposed to be hit by a nuke, right? In Fallout 3? Yeah, and this is more, I guess, just a Fallout. It's just a Fallout, like the title. Like, yeah, it's just people living there and they're cut off from the rest of the world. Like, yeah, I kind of want to see that, and it's good to see another. Yeah, like we've just been waiting so long for.
Yeah, it's
just to say and release something, because it's like we know they're working on Fallout or a Skyrim, but it's like, well, they just released a Skyrim, so it can't be like another Elder Scrolls game, can it?
Yeah, I mean, because they did Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, so I figured like it had to be Fallout's turn. Like they had to do that. So but yeah, there's a lot of cool you can go and read my breakdown of the trailer where I just kind of pointed out there's a lot of stuff in the trailer that's very familiar from Fallout 3. Like I think kind of purposefully, like it's trying to kind of recapture that feeling of playing Fallout 3, where like you see like your character leaving the vault for the first time and going out into like to the big expansive worlds. You get that. So obviously you'll still be like vault dwellers. They show a dog in the trailer who's probably going to be this game's dog meat, who's like your AI companion you can find that he can use and who can help you in the game, like finding things and resources. A lot of like the creatures and robots from the past games, like you had the Death Claws, who are dirty bastards because they are incredibly hard to kill. And then you have like the Mr. Handy, the feral ghouls, so you've got like a lot of returning things, but also like toward the end of the trailer, they show a lot of really interesting kind of new stuff. In particular in the trailer, they kind of cut between, like pre-apocalypse events and, what happens afterwards. So it kind of shows you like before and after. So it seems like that may be a big part of the game.
Yeah, it looks like there's some flashback sequences, I hope.
Yeah. It looks like either because you see a lot of these like sections in the 50s, I guess, that are like right before the Fallout events happened, and So it seems like either there'll be some kind of like flashbacks, or the other idea I had was maybe it would be sort of like hallucinations, kind of like what they did in Fallout 3, where there were a couple sections where like your character started seeing like wacky stuff all the time that you didn't know, like whether it was real or not. So it could be part of that. I think it seems probably more like it's going to be like a flashback or maybe like a prologue or something.
Or remember you hopped into like the simulation also, and you got to see you were in the computer, and then they were showing you like this little like neat little town, and you had to find like the serial
Yeah,
or that was serial killer in the simulation or something where you had.
I think so. I think that was one of the DLC campaigns that had that section. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so you get to see some of those, and then at the very end of the trailer, a lot of people have been suggesting. So there's like that section of the trailer at the very end where you see that like old gas station that's kind of been repurposed into like a bunker or a home base kind of. So a lot of people are suspecting that might be a new feature where you can kind of set up like a home base, because in it you see a power armor, which is from the Brotherhood of Steel. You see that being assembled, but it's like, it's missing pieces. So a lot of people are thinking that maybe it's like you get to like customize armor, or like, create your own. It seems like there's going to be some kind of like customization and crafting involved. Because if you look in the back of that shot, there's all weapons and things, but there's like pieces and components. So it seems like maybe you'll be able to like customize and build your own weapons and do things like that. And obviously there's a lot of fun Easter eggs in there too. Like there's plenty of Nuka-Cola stuff. There's like a Vault Tech bobblehead that's hidden in there. So a lot of like familiar stuff if you played Fallout 3. But I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this game for a long time, and I'm really happy that it's a thing now. So like a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, which is great because now when we go to E3, chances are they'll probably show gameplay. So like, I like that they revealed it now because they don't waste that at E3 where it's like, well, this is going to be everything we know about Fallout is just this reveal trailer. So now that we have the reveal trailer already, that means come E3, we have to see a heads up display and all that. And like, yeah, I'm not one to care about trailers. I'm more of like, hey, give me the 10-minute walkthrough. Show me the first 5 minutes of the game, or just like show me a guy who's level 20 who's in like super power armor. Like that's what I want out of my Fallout. Like that works for me. And you still there, Ryan? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Just lost your visual. It's totally fine. I don't mind talking into the void. It's all good. But yeah, god damn it, Fallout. And it came out of nowhere, this announcement. Like, yeah, we had that little teaser, and it's like, oh, it'll be some sort of stupid name, some screenshots or some nonsense. But yeah, Fallout 4 is a thing. I was not expecting to say that, at least not until next week.
No, I'm excited though. I'm really happy they announced it, and that I'm sure it's going to have a big presence at E3, and I'm sure it's going to be a big part of Bethesda's conference, where I'm sure they'll probably show some kind of gameplay or give more details, or hopefully a release date, which would be really nice.
I mean, if you're renting out a theater for a couple hours, they have to be showing some gameplay. Outside of maybe they'll show like half-hour Doom or something. But yeah, we'll save our E3 predictions next week though, because that's going to be a full panel discussion. And
yeah.
And my favorite part of the E3 predictions is always coming back from E3 and be like, so let's see how wrong we were.
So when we're just like, oh yeah, Last Guardian, it's gonna happen this year. It's gonna happen. And then
I already have my notes, and I put Last Guardian ? And then I put LOL.
Did you just take your piece of paper you wrote from 5 years ago saying Last Guardian, then just add to it basically? Is like.
But yeah, man. So, oh man, I'm still like kind of jittery. Like I'm like, what world are we living in? Where like Fallout 4 is a reality.
And I think it's good because I honestly I have not been this excited for a game like this in a while. So and you could feel it because like so many people, like the internet just exploded yesterday when the trailer was revealed. So
yeah, because you think about like Fallout 3, which was. Your first, on 360 and PS3, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, this is a next gen game. I get it. As far as just like sheer scope and just stuff you can do, like PC players, as far as like the PC fans are already going nuts as far as like, oh man, I cannot wait for these mods, because you mentioned that sort of like home base building where it's like, yeah, this is something PC players would put in and just. Oh, everyone's just getting all giddy and like,
yeah. Well, I think also because especially like Fallout, I think for a while, Fallout 4, I think for a while was kind of one of those games like like a Half-Life 3 or Last Guardian that's just been like rumored and buzzing around for so long, and then but I think the thing is like with a game like Half-Life 3, like they've been rumored for so long that like you're kind of cynical about it and like oh, it's never going to get really but now Fallout's been announced. I think there's genuine excitement because it's actually like real and it's coming. So.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to get more information. Hope next week. It is next Sunday, right? Like,
Yeah, a week from this Sunday. So.
oh man, that is gonna be an interesting day. We are gonna be
Yeah.
tired in California, but
It'll be worth it though.
I think giddy is going to be the right verb for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fallout 4, good for us. And the next kind of game that came out of nowhere that I'm really excited for was Ryan, XCOM 2 was announced.
Yeah, XCOM 2 was announced, so it was really
it was just revealed. The trailer went up and a couple of screenshots on our site there, DualShockers.com, which you should probably check out. Yeah, we lost the war, Ryan.
That's a bummer. Didn't Fallout already prove that? So it's like it's just continuing the trend of and things happening to humanity.
And depending how you played XCOM, the first XCOM, yeah, that was the turn. Yep, like I beat the first XCOM just because I like put it on easy and like just a normal playthrough was like this is insane. But yeah, I think that was the outcome for most people who played XCOM. It's like, yeah, the aliens won. It became super hard. But yeah, this is canon. You lost. You screwed up, and now humanity belongs to aliens. So the game takes place 20 years after the aliens invaded, took over Earth, and kind of like now they're just kind of rebuilding, and you're sort of like slaves, but not really. You kind of play a ragtag group of rebels. So you're on the offensive this time. It's more focused on guerrilla warfare. And one of the big differences this time around is your base. Your base is actually an alien spaceship. Think of, I think like SHIELD helicarrier type thing. But yeah, you get to fly at different attack points and, do cool rebel stuff. And they're bringing back five soldier classes, all with their skill trees and abilities, and there's no panic anymore because you're not trying to prevent an invasion; you're trying to like kick them off. Mm-hmm. So the state of the world is going to change as you complete missions, which would be cool. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like a propaganda meter, because as you're watching that trailer, you're seeing all these statues of like, look at the aliens helping the humans and helping them up because we're just dumb monkeys. So it would be interesting to see what kind of enemy types you're going to run into. Whether are you fighting just aliens? Are you fighting like alien like loyalist also, which would be kind of neat. And but I think the biggest news was PC only.
Yeah, it was surprising. I think, especially considering that XCOM Enemy Unknown was the first one, right? Yeah. And then it was they were released on 360 and PS3. So it isn't and obviously I think like the PC is obviously probably the core audience for that franchise because it is a strategy game. It's it comes from a PC background, so it makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised down the line. Like I think that it would come to either PS4, Xbox One. I think it'll be only a matter of time before then.
Right.
And I could see maybe like a situation where it's like a Rise of the Tomb Raider, where it's like they'll get it for a timed exclusive. So just depends where.
But the interesting, especially coming out from who's the developer, Firaxis.
Yeah, it's for Axis Games.
So there's a couple of quotes coming out from them saying that like the idea that they can just focus on a single platform means they can do more with the game, which kind of sends the message like, yeah, these next gen consoles are just annoying to work on. It just seems like they're gonna have a little bit more freedom as far as like mod support and just kind of like the fun, weird things you can do in this game that you couldn't do because you have to think multi-platform and just kind of split your resources in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool. And Ryan, you can customize your gear on like different levels of like different arm and helmet stuff, and like, oh, dude, it's gonna be so good. Yeah, so there's gonna be a Steam Workshop support, so you can kind of customize your own campaign, which is always my favorite part of the XCOM. When there was an update where it kind of broke down different tweaks you can do to the campaign, where it's like, hey, when you level up, you get random stats as opposed to a sniper gets these points as they level up, and it just kind of make you can make your game more difficult or more realistic or more fun depending on like what you're in the mood for. And yeah, I'm hoping there's an Iron Man mode that like once you die, it's done, it's over, you suck. So
yeah.
But yeah, were you a big XCOM guy? Did you play much of it?
No, I have Enemy Unknown. I haven't played it yet, but it's on my list at some point to play it. It's just I'm not a big strategy person. Like I suck at them. I'm not very good at strategy games. So
it's a great game, and I definitely would recommend you play. Even just like if you just put it on easy, just to kind of get the idea of. Yeah. To me, that game was always. That was a great game to talk about. Always great to talk to other people about because everyone had their own kind of like XCOM war story which was
Yeah.
because you can customize these characters, you can name them whatever you want, you can pick like their nation of origin. But my thing was always just like whoever they gave me, I used them. I didn't tweak too much. I did make like my initial family and friends and XCOM, which is a terrible thing to do because most of them
because when they die, then like
most of them get killed anyway. But yeah, you end up getting really attached to these soldiers that you just like, you start them off as rookies, and like I was treating these no-name guys as like cannon fodder, and as they started surviving every encounter after every encounter, they're like, oh, this guy's a boss. And then when you lose that super elite soldier towards like the end of the game, you are just completely and utterly heartbroken. And it's like, you know what, like this isn't canon, this wasn't like a campaign thing I did, he's just a soldier I was attached to and they died. And to me, that's a better story than whatever was scripted from, because the game didn't have much of a story. It was just like, hey, aliens are invading, you got to do this, and then there's panic, so if you lose, more nations pull funding and stuff. So that's going to be fun, and I was super excited to bring back competitive multiplayer, which I was not a huge fan of. But they say you'll be able to mix squads of aliens and humans, which kind of gives me a vibe that maybe that's going to be what you're facing against, is the mix of aliens and humans. And also your guy's a sword. Right, in the trailer, the guy had a sword. He saw an alien, went, whatcha, and he killed him. And I was like, I'm in. Yes, XCOM. And and I'm assuming your mobile flying air alien ship has rooms that you can customize, and like, oh, here's your weapons factory and all that nonsense. But yeah, great. XCOM, right on. I may have to upgrade my PC by then.
It's an exciting week between XCOM and Fallout. They're two I think really highly anticipated, games.
Yeah, and XCOM kind of came as a surprise. I'm like, the first XCOM did really well. I was expecting a sequel. At least, is it this soon? I mean, it's been a couple of years. Just sort of forgot about it.
I think Enemy Unknown came out in like 2011, 2012, probably around then. So
yeah, it makes sense. 3-4 year cycle. Yeah, sure. Why the hell not?
Let's double check when it came out. 2012. So yeah, about 3 years. So.
But yeah, so in other great game news, I guess, the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection leaked out.
Yeah, it did.
To no one's surprise.
Yeah. I think it was just embarrassing. I think it was just funny considering it came from Sony themselves, because it leaked last night, like late last night on the PlayStation Mobile store, where all of a sudden people just noticed, oh, there's an Uncharted collection on the page out of nowhere. So I have a feeling some poor guy coder probably accidentally slipped that in there and
listen, man, some of these website content management systems are total garbage, where we've had that. It happens to everyone, where it's just like, hey, we schedule the post, it should be good, we're not going to break embargo, and then for whatever happens, the CMS system just says, oh, you mean you want to release it now? Great, here you go, post. And you're like
no.
What do we do? So
it switched its number. So it was like, oh, you wanted it at 6 p.m.? How about 3 instead? It was like, whoops. So
yeah, I can imagine someone at Sony going, fuck, this was 10 minutes of our press conference just down the drain. What do we do now?
Well, even Neil Druckmann sent a tweet where he's like, well, that went out a couple hours early. So it's like, but yeah, so I guess with the leak, then Sony officially confirmed that there's going to be an Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, which is going to include 1080p 60 frame per second remasters of the first 3 Uncharted games. So it'll be Drake's Fortune, Among Thieves, and Drake's Deception. No Uncharted Golden Abyss. I mean, to no one's surprise, probably because it wasn't developed by Naughty Dog. So, but
yeah. And so, that was the Vita. That was the Vita one, right?
That was the Vita game. Yeah, that was by Sony Bend. So unfortunately, if you're looking to get that, you have to get a PSP or a PSTV or something. But you're still getting the core Uncharted experience. So that'll be exciting, because I think it'll get people hyped and ready for Uncharted 4, especially for people that that didn't have a PS4 or PS3 and want to experience those games. Then now's your chance. So.
And yeah, we were joking about it earlier. It's like, yeah, I predicted this, but then it's like, it was literally me saying, like, that's me predicting rain in Seattle. Like, yeah, you kind of knew it was going to happen. And like, Sony's first party lineup has not been that deep. So it's like, yeah, we're going to see a lot of more remasters, and this is just leading the charge. So we're just,
and I mean, obviously, like, Uncharted left a very big hole in their holiday lineup, since they had to delay it. So So this is going to kind of fill in the gap a little bit. But the big thing is it also does include exclusive. So the collection includes exclusive access to the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta. Like most other collections that like Halo did the same thing with the Master Chief Collection. So if you're looking to go jump back into the Uncharted games, this is probably the best way to do it. So, and those games will still probably, I mean, Drake's Fortune, I think, will probably look a little iffy since that's the oldest one. But I mean, Among Thieves and Drake's Deception are still probably gonna look amazing. So
yeah, that first Uncharted is a Tomb Raider game. Like it is the one, and they all have these weird kind of like supernatural things at the end, and just, like I actually like that first Uncharted. It was like a straight adventure game, which like I wanted. It's like, hey, here's your dude Tomb Raider. I'm like, all right,
yeah, they were all really good. It's funny actually. I just clicked on one of Giuseppe's articles about the Uncharted collection, and one of the community members posted a screenshot of their receipt from GameStop where they pre-ordered Mad Max, Uncharted, and Fallout 4 like today. Like, and I'm just like, that guy is ready. So
yes, he's ready for the apocalypse and spelunking,
and like fun one-liners, like sarcastic dialogue. So.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Ryan, I know you were concerned about the state of Konami, and it's like, what the hell are they going to release? They have the
I actually have not thought about them at all in the past week or two. It was like.
So those of you concerned that Konami was not going to release any video games outside of Metal Gear Solid and Pro Evolution Soccer, do I have a surprise for you? Ryan, Konami confirmed Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist for PS4 and Xbox One. Bam! In your face, Konami with a vengeance.
See, they've got one game coming out, and it's not Silent Hill, so I doubt people will care, but...
I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a great anime.
I liked it when I was like 11, but now, I'm not anymore. So
you should watch it. It is the most ridiculous. They live in a world where, cards are life, man. That's reality. All right. Like I want to live in a world like that where you like all our disputes are handled by like card battles. Like I'm all about that. Like The Witcher, I'm just going. Yeah, in The Witcher, I'm just running around playing Gwent against other people. Where it's like, yeah, I know I got to save the day, but dude, you want to play cards first? And he's like, yeah, and then done. Like, oh man, I'm still playing the hell out of The Witcher 3. Actually, I was, and I got some crazy bug on my Xbox One version where my game wouldn't start. That's weird. Yeah, so I'm like, well, that's weird. Let me just delete it and uninstall it. And then it just won't download the game. It just says, hey, there's an error, try back later. And that broke my heart yesterday. And I'm just like, so am I ever going to play The Witcher? I haven't checked today, but I'm hoping it downloaded. I'm hoping it just fixed itself.
Well, there was something, or I think today or yesterday, about they said that something was fixed with The Witcher, that it works now. So maybe if you try it again, it'll work. So we'll see. Or your Xbox could just be permanently like dead and not play games anymore. So
no, it was playing other games. It was like, oh my god, is this everything? Now I was playing Mortal Kombat fine. What else did I play? I did some Ground Zeroes. I don't know, it was just there, and it works fine. So I'm just like, oh, maybe it's just the universe's way of saying, I think you've been playing too much Witcher. Like, just back off a bit.
It's trying to tell you, calm down, George. You still have like 200 hours of this game to go out of the 200 you've already played. So
and then you got Batman in a few weeks, and then you got Fallout in the fall. Hopefully, just like, you're gonna put me to work. Just chill out, okay?
Yeah,
I need a rest. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. It's only gonna be $20, and then I have to relearn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I used to know how to play the card game, like the physical card game, when I was younger. Because one of my first jobs was working at a collectible store, and then we did like baseball cards and like other sports memorabilia, and then this Pokemon thing happened, and then my boss was like, hey, I'm gonna get these Pokemon cards, you think they'll sell? I'm like, yeah, still sell, I want Pokemon cards. And yeah, so we were
just gonna buy them all probably. So
pretty much my whole salary, I made like $6 an hour, and my weekly salary just went into buying just packs of Pokemon cards. I didn't even know how to play the game. I just bought them to trade with other people. And that was just my crack cocaine at that moment. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Became a thing, and I was slowly getting into that. And then we would host tournaments at the shop every Saturday. So I learned how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Some Magic the Gathering, but I was like way over my head. I was I was maybe like 14 or 15. I was just like, don't get it. The cards look cool though. Not for me. Tap mana? Don't know. Don't care.
Yeah, I know the feeling because I lived down the street from a comic book store, so every weekend was just going there and getting Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic cards for whatever meager money I had earned. And
the best was the Magic player. Like I love how like Magic players just kind of like scoff at like people who are into Pokemon. It's like that's a baby game for babies. Magic is where it's at. Like I remember being like super intimidated by these like neckbeards that would just be like, what's that? Was that Pikachu glow in the dark? I'm like, well, yeah, it does. It's worth this much on the Wizards of the Coast official magazine. I'm just like, oh, I was a giant dork.
They probably, and then you know what? They were just jealous though, because they weren't as cool as Pokemon cards, which were amazing.
I agree, Ryan. In some sad news, Ryan, I know you are a giant MOBA fan, and not only a MOBA fan.
Nope, not a MOBA fan at all.
I know you're a big DC fan, and I know no.
DC's okay. I'm okay on it. It's fine. I wouldn't say fan, but like I like DC. I like Batman. So. Oh,
you're the worst.
Like everyone. So.
In sad news, the DC Universe themed MOBA Infinite Crisis is shutting down August 14th. It was this game was in beta for God knows how long. It was released back in March. To kind of middling, they wanted to go after that Dota crowd, and there was this window of time where everyone and their mother was releasing their own MOBA. I remember there was a Dead Island MOBA for a while, which was just not a good game. This was so Infinite Crisis was their version of like, hey, look, we got Joker, and then we got like Earth 3 Joker, who's like a giant butcher, and then we've got 7 Batmans and 3 Superman, and look, we got all these skins and stuff. I mean, it played like a MOBA, so if it was just one of those, if you were a DC fan and liked MOBAs, this game might be for you. But yeah, they announced Turbine announced the other day that they were shutting down. The game will still remain free to play up to August 14th. I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen to people who played, who paid actual money for like costumes and characters and tokens for other weird things. Is that money just going to disappear? Is that going to are they going to give you credit to like other Turbine games? And now that we're getting there to the point where, hey, I put money into this service and now the service is gone. What happens now?
Probably, I would imagine probably nothing. Like,
it's not like they're going to be like, you know what? Hey, thanks for playing. Here's all the money you refunded back. Here's a check. Like, no, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave you a credit towards their next weird MOBA thing that Turbine's working on.
Yeah, I mean that's basically they're just going to be like, hey, here's your $20 back that you could use toward our next game. So basically, it's going back into their pockets anyway. But
this was after a blog. This was extremely difficult decision to make. On behalf of the entire Infinite Crisis team, we want to thank you for all your support, feedback, and joining together to create one of the best communities in gaming. And rest in peace, Infinite Crisis. Still have a few months to play, so I think now would be the best time to get into it and check it out.
Yeah. I think it's just tough for a lot of MOBAs like that, like the lower tier kind of like free to play. I think because you're competing now against what are the top tier MOBA games, which you have League of Legends, Dota, and then you have upcoming ones like Heroes of the Storm, you have Smite and Strife, and all these these other ones coming out, and it's becoming. I think it's just MOBAs in general are becoming a very like oversaturated market where there's just it's getting harder and harder to compete with the top. When you've got tens of millions of people playing League of Legends, Dota, you've got Heroes of the Storm having just launched. So, you're going to be competing against those three. It's like trying to go against like Call of Duty or Battlefield or like the top tier, like shooting games. So
then, and then thinking, well, we have DC characters, people like superheroes. And like, sometimes it's just maybe not enough. Like, yeah, the superheroes will make me check it out. But then when I actually play it, I'm like, oh, this is kind of like a mediocre MOBA. Then, I think ultimately, at the end of the day, that was just an average. It's kind of like, it's a MOBA, last hits and stuff like that. Not for me. Heroes of the Storm, though, that game is fun. I like it. And you know what? This probably should have. This next bit probably should have been one of the earlier headlines, but Gears of War developer renamed the Coalition, and Gears of War news, guys. Ryan, Gears of War is real. It's coming. I guess that was the unannounced a meeting I had of that I'm going to have at Microsoft at E3. So there goes that mystery. But
Yeah.
more will be revealed at E3 during the Microsoft press conference, and I guess the Xbox Daily Show. I guess they're streaming some stuff. So if you have an Xbox One or 360, you can kind of like stream things that are happening there. So
Yeah, they'll be doing. They did some of that last year at E3 too. Like actually, like before the Microsoft conference started, they were doing a bunch of streams, and actually they were like announcing some stuff too. Like I think they like even before the Microsoft show, they announced during one of those streams like the Killer Instinct Season 2, and like they'll be getting developers up to like kind of talk about their games and show demos and stuff. So yeah, I think they're trying. I think it seems they're trying to take more like the Nintendo approach, like with their Treehouse live streams, like the Nintendo Directs, where they're trying to keep the excitement going throughout the show, rather than just putting all their eggs in one basket at the press conference. So
yeah, and then because then you can sit down and do longer demos. Because Nintendo sit there, they're like, "Hey, we're going to show you an hour Splatoon." I'm like, "That's great," especially if you have a new IP or like I said, like a remaster, and you want to show, you want more than just 90 seconds of like, "Oh, look at that trailer, that's great." Now let's move on to more like weird dubstep stuff. But yeah, this was Black Tusk Studios, and they renamed them the Coalition. And if you're a kind of a Gears of War fan, you'll notice that the human faction is called the Coalition of Governments, I guess COG, which is the good guys. Yeah, so I guess Black Tusk is just the official. That's just, you guys are Gears, all right?
Yeah.
Do you have any other game ideas? You better put chainsaw machine guns in there, because we're not going to be listening. But yeah, I like it. I'm a Gears fan. That was always one of my preferred multiplayer games. Yeah, like I said, more at E3. Like I said, it's a weird ShockCast, because it's like it's kind of slow news because there's a big ramp up to E3. But you know what, Ryan, we're gonna do a short one today.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean,
it's just you and me, like
yeah.
I got some video games to play. I want to see if Witcher still works.
The Coalition news is actually pretty funny, because I did text a friend of the site, Tony, former DualShockers writer, but now with the Coalition with a K. Apparently a lot of people are being like, "Oh, hey, congratulations, you guys are working on the Gears of War game," and he's like, "Thanks, we'll try our best." So it was pretty funny.
Like, Tony has never even owned an Xbox, and he's just like, "Yeah, I guess we're making next Gears game. Great."
Yeah.
See you at E3. I'm like, "Oh man." Ryan, what you been playing? What's been occupying your time?
Right now has been a thing called work, and just a lot of things. But so my spare time, I haven't been playing that much. Right now, it's mostly trying to go through. I've been continue playing Enslaved: Odyssey to the West, because I'm trying to finish that and get through that. And then I'm hopefully trying to continue what I've been calling the Yaris Gutierrez honorary Witcher-a-thon, to go through the Witcher games, because Editor-in-Chief Yaris keeps yelling at me for not playing the Witcher games yet, so I can get to 3. So I'm gonna as he should. So I'm hopefully gonna try and play some more this weekend. I have to say this weekend is a little busy for me, and then obviously with pre-3 stuff, we're a little busy. But yeah, that's been about it. It's been pretty light. So
yeah, what are you bringing anything for the flight next week? What's going to be, because me and you are actually sitting next to each other on the plane. So what are you?
It's
what are you going to be playing for the 6-hour flight on there?
If I'm not playing, well, I definitely want to try to bring my copy of A Dance with Dragons, because I want to read that because of Game of Thrones. But okay, but so yeah, no, it's not a game, but I want to try to get through that. But game-wise, I still have been trying to get through Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D and Final Fantasy X HD, so I'll probably end up playing one of those two for the flight, but we'll see.
Fun. I don't have a handheld, so I'll probably be playing stuff on my iPad. If we have Wi-Fi, I'm going to play the hell out of some Hearthstone, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I've got some iPad stuff. I got that Shadowfall game on there that I only play on flights, so I'll do that. Maybe some Final Fantasy Tactics. That's always been my airplane game, too. But yeah, right now I'm playing a lot of Witcher 3, or I was playing a lot of Witcher 3 before it's setting out to work, so I'm checking. Hopefully I can play more Witcher 3. If not, I'm going to definitely check out that awful game Hatred. That way I can officially play it and hate it, and hate Hatred. But yeah, I'm trying to do a joystick with George. I'm still having like some computer issues as far as capturing, but hopefully I can squirrel all that stuff out. But at least just, play the game so I can talk about it. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to try some, actually, I got some texts from some people saying, we should play Heroes of the Storm, man. You ever heard of it? I'm like, yeah, I've been playing it for a year. I've heard of it. So I'm going to play some of that tonight, and maybe love a MOBA. I don't know. That I never thought I would see this day where I was just like, oh yeah, last hits, man. I love leveling up and cash shops and abilities. I'm like, well, actually, no cash shops and Heroes of the Storm, but still, I want to play that game, and and it's out for free now, I think, right?
Yeah, it's out now. I think there's like a starter pack you can get, which is I think
Yeah,
is like $20. I
which I
guess that
have.
gets
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that gets you like additional heroes and characters you can play as and things
Hmm.
like that. So
Yeah, so that should be fun.
at most it would be probably like $20 to like get into the game. Otherwise, you could jump in for free.
And I play, and it's super easy, especially if you're a MOBA like novice. It's the controls are super easy to pick up, and you can kind of figure out what kind of character you want to play. And what I like is you can actually test out new characters. So if you're just kind of iffy about certain characters, if you don't want to shell down the like $6 to $8 for a permanent character, and be like, oh, let me see if I'm actually good with Kerrigan or Raynor. But yeah, the Blizzard, I can't wait to see what they have going on at E3, and I know they're gonna have. I know they'll probably show some Overwatch, Overstrike, whatever that dumb title of that game is. I know I played a lot of it at PAX, but yeah, MOBAs, man, who knew they were a thing?
Yeah, they are. I haven't really played them,
But yeah, I can't wait. And next week, guys, make sure you stay tuned, because that's going to be the E3 prediction show. We're going to run through all the press conferences and just shout nonsense, mostly consisting of speculation and us yelling at Ryan that like there can't be another Smash Brothers. It's already out. Yeah, we're gonna. I definitely want to go into what Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo have up their sleeves and see who's going to be right. Maybe some hardware will be announced, maybe not. We'll see. And I'm definitely going to make note of who says what, and then give them the proper kudos the following week when we come back from California. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And next week is going to be a fun week for us. And hopefully we'll get the ShockCast up. I'm hoping the E3 prediction show goes up. If not, the show itself, we're going to have a ton of coverage and a ton of daily kind of podcasts, a lot of reaction stuff. And yeah, so next time, I think that's it. You were joined today by, hey, Sonny came up and back and he's losing his mind. All right, Sonny, we're just wrapping up here. You were joined today by Ryan Meitzler.
goodbye, everyone. And until Fallout 4 is out, I will be waiting it with bated breath. Sonny seems really excited by Fallout 4. I know, it's like he could be your dog meat in Fallout. So
you want to be my dog meat? You want to be? Oh, okay, wow, he's losing his mind. Yeah, and I was George Jimenez. Thank you so much, Thunderbolts, for watching another fantastic episode of the ShockCast. We'll see you next week on the E3 prediction show, and we'll see you at E3. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Goodbye, guys.